Intro. The invisible price of being available. Have you ever walked into a room full of familiar faces and still felt unseen? It's a strange pain. You give your time, you listen deeply, you show up for others again and again, but in return, all you feel is emptiness. Not anger, not drama, just the quiet realization that you're being overlooked. Maybe it happens at work, where you go the extra mile but your efforts go unnoticed. Maybe it's in a friendship, where you're always the one initiating, checking in, caring, while they respond at their convenience. Maybe it's even at home, where you pour energy into your family, but rarely feel acknowledged. Here's the hard truth. Being kind doesn't guarantee you'll be respected. Being available doesn't guarantee you'll be valued. In fact, the more available you are, the easier it is for others to take you for granted. So how do you change this? Not by playing games, not by cutting everyone off, but by learning to live with intention and virtue, the Stoic way. In this guide, we'll explore how ancient philosophy can transform modern relationships. You'll learn how to stop over-explaining, how to become less available but more impactful, and how to be valued without demanding it. There's a story coming up about someone who gave too much until the silence around them taught them everything. But first, we begin with one powerful idea. You are not powerless, you are not stuck, and you are not invisible unless you choose to be. 1. The root problem. Why you feel undervalued. Let's face it, modern life is noisy. Everyone's busy, everyone's distracted. And in this whirlwind, it's easy to feel like you don't matter. And yet, when you care about people deeply, it hurts to feel replaceable. You begin to wonder, am I just too nice? Why do I give so much and get so little? Why do I feel invisible in relationships I've invested so much in? This isn't just a personal problem, it's a cultural epidemic. Social media tells us to be everything for everyone. Hustle culture rewards constant availability. And many of us are taught that the more we give, the more we'll be loved. But that's a lie. In reality, overextending yourself without boundaries teaches others that your time and your worth are negotiable. This is where Stoicism steps in, not as a cold, rigid rulebook, but as a compass to help you reclaim your sense of self-worth from within. Let's rewind a couple of thousand years. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man of his time, wrote quietly to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, you don't need everyone to like you. You don't need to chase validation. Your value comes from within, not from applause, not from attention. That's the Stoic shift. Instead of begging for recognition, you build inner strength. Instead of trying to control others, you master yourself. That's why Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's a power move. 2. The Stoic solution. Building inner worth without needing approval. So how do we begin the transformation from being overlooked to being respected? By turning inward. At the core of Stoicism is the concept of the internal locus of control. This means believing that our happiness, worth, and peace come not from the outside world, but from our internal responses to it. Seneca, one of the great Stoics, said, "If you know not to which port you sail, no wind is favorable." This teaches us that clarity is power. You must first define what matters to you. If you're seeking value from others, ask yourself, have you valued yourself first? Epictetus took it even further. He explained that our suffering often comes not from what happens to us, but from our judgment about what happens. It's not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. That person who ignores your text, that friend who forgot your birthday, those things sting, but they don't define you. What defines you is how you respond. A Stoic does not demand, attention. They command respect through calm, clarity, and character. So the first step to being valued is to stop chasing external validation and start nurturing internal value. Because once you value yourself, you stop negotiating with people who don't. 3. The story of Alex and the empty chair, expanded. Alex was always there for everyone. Need a ride to the airport? Call Alex. Break up with your partner? Vent to Alex. Need help moving? You guessed it. Alex shows up. Alex was the kind of person people leaned on, but rarely leaned with. One day, Alex organized a small dinner. 4 close friends. Nothing fancy, just meaningful time together. Everyone confirmed. The day came. No one showed up. They had reasons. Sick kid. Last-minute meeting. Forgot to check the group chat. Alex sat alone. 4 empty chairs around one full heart, now bruised. That night, Alex didn't post passive-aggressive messages, didn't cut people off. Alex reflected, and Alex changed. No more immediate responses to every message. No more always being available. No more over-explaining. Instead, Alex became selective, present, firm, and gradually, people noticed. Some left, but those who stayed, they showed up, on time, with intention. Alex didn't become colder, just clearer, and in that clarity, value was reborn. 4. Practical Stoic strategies to be valued. If you want to be more valued, don't start with what others should do, start with what you can do differently. Here are key Stoic-inspired strategies. 1. Be less available, more present people. Value scarcity. If you're always around, your presence loses impact. Instead, be intentional with your time. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius 2. Don't over-explain. You don't owe everyone an explanation for your boundaries. No is a complete sentence. Let your silence teach respect. 3. Respond, don't react. Take space before replying when you feel hurt. Respond with dignity, not emotion. The Stoic doesn't flare up, they rise above. 4. Set boundaries and enforce them. You can't teach people to value you if you don't value your own time. Define what's acceptable and walk away when it's crossed. 5. Live your values out. Loud. Be consistent in your character. People respect those who stay grounded in their principles, especially when tested. These actions don't chase attention. They attract respect. 5. Reflection and inner shift. The journey to being valued doesn't begin with a dramatic confrontation. It begins in stillness, in the quiet decision that you will no longer betray yourself to earn closeness. What the Stoics teach us is this: self-worth is a posture, not a proclamation. You don't need to tell people you've changed. You show it in the way you walk, speak, and choose. Marcus Aurelius often wrote to himself, reminding his own soul to rise above public opinion. He didn't live for praise, he lived for principle. And that principle, once internalized, makes you magnetic to those who recognize integrity. Let go of the desire to be liked. That is not the goal. Be committed to being real, being honest, and being firm in your values. Those who see it will stay. Those who don't were never truly present to begin with. Self-respect creates a ripple effect. People notice when you respect your own energy, your time, your boundaries. Respect begins within, so does transformation. 6. Self-prioritization as a virtue. In Stoic philosophy, self-prioritization is not selfishness, it's sanity. The ancient thinkers understood that if you do not put your own life in order, you cannot be of true service to others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you do not have respect for yourself, no one else will." And that principle echoes across time. When you consistently put yourself last, others will follow your lead. To prioritize yourself means saying no without guilt, resting without needing to earn it, speaking up when something doesn't sit right with your values. Seneca emphasized the importance of using time wisely, not to be busy for others constantly, but to live deliberately. We are not given a short life, but we make it short. By wasting our time on people who don't see us or causes we don't believe in, we rob ourselves of a meaningful life. Epictetus taught us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And reacting well starts by ensuring your emotional tank isn't empty. That only happens when you are rested, valued, and grounded. To be truly valued by others, you must first walk through life with the calm confidence that you value yourself. That begins with prioritizing your well-being, not last, but first. When you put yourself at the center of your life, not in arrogance, but in balance, you radiate the strength others are drawn to. True Stoicism is not self-sacrifice to the point of invisibility. It is self-clarity to the point of impact. 7. Time management and dignified distance. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Time is not just a resource, it is your life measured in minutes. And how you spend it reflects how you see yourself. When we give away our time too freely, to people who drain us, to events we don't care about, to distractions that do not serve us, we are essentially telling the world, my time doesn't matter. And if your time doesn't matter to you, why should it matter to anyone else? The Stoics teach that managing time is a form of moral discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote daily about the value of staying focused on what truly matters. He called attention and presence acts of virtue. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. This means being fully present with people who matter and unavailable to what doesn't. It's not about being rude. It's about being real. Being always available makes you forgettable. Being selectively available makes your presence valuable. Just like silence makes music possible, space makes your presence appreciated. Time management, through the Stoic lens, isn't just about scheduling. It's about signaling value. Decline the meeting that's a waste of your time. Don't respond to texts out of guilt. Make time for stillness, reflection, and intentional living. Because the moment you start honoring your own hours, others will too. 8. Autonomy, patience, and the power of saying no. The final Stoic principles that elevate your value in life are autonomy and patience. Autonomy means ownership of your choices, your emotions, and your attention. Epictetus reminds us, no man is free who is not master of himself. When you need everyone's approval to feel okay, you've handed your freedom over to others. But when you learn to say no without guilt, to stay calm while others react, and to walk away without chasing closure, you reclaim your autonomy. Patience is power in disguise. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Delaying your response, pausing before reacting, creates space for wisdom. And in that space, you project maturity, self-possession, and composure. All traits deeply respected by others. The modern world teaches immediacy. Stoicism teaches restraint. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to prove your point. You don't need to rush into decisions. A patient, autonomous person becomes a rare presence, someone others trust, admire, and seek out. And all of this stems from one simple truth. You value yourself enough not to chase those who don't. The end. final lesson, and call to inner strength. Let's bring it all together. You are not here to be convenient. You are not here to be overlooked. You are not here to convince people of your worth. You are here to live deeply, wisely, and fully. To show up with boundaries, speak with intention, and move with dignity. The Stoics didn't promise popularity, they promised peace. And peace, as it turns out, is magnetic. The moment you stop explaining yourself, overextending yourself, and exhausting yourself to earn what should be freely given, you rise. You rise into the version of you that no longer waits to be valued, but quietly teaches the world how to treat you. You are your own foundation. Act like it. You are your own compass. Follow it. And in doing so, you become unforgettable. Not because you shouted, but because you stood firm. So choose clarity over approval. Choose boundaries over burnout. Choose you. The rest will follow.